Reality doesn't just happen to you, it responds to you. Beneath the surface of what we call the world, this stage of light, matter, and time, there is a hidden operating system. It's not coded in binary or written in books. It's etched into the very structure of existence. A living architecture. A matrix, yes, but not the kind you can escape. This one is you. It flows through your breath, beats in your chest, and pulses in the space between your thoughts. You are not a spectator here. You are the signal, the frequency, the source. And yet most people walk through life like echoes, responding to what has already passed, repeating what was already done, reacting instead of creating. That's not life. That's lag. To live is to know how to tune the signal. And that signal is built on 4 codes. They're not theories, they're laws. And they're not buried in temples or locked behind scientific equations. They are elemental, biological, spiritual, and energetic. They are the laws of form and formlessness, of time and no time. They are the hidden bones of reality. When you master them, you don't chase life. It comes to you. You don't beg the universe. You speak its language. These 4 codes don't just align you with the universe, they make the universe bend toward your alignment. It begins with understanding that you are not separate from what you seek. Every desire you've ever had, every goal you've imagined, already exists in some version of space-time. The only thing between you and that version is your frequency. The first code is the code of form, structure, ground, earth. In a world that glorifies speed, motion, and change, it's easy to forget that without form, energy has nowhere to go. You can't build anything real on nothing. The code of form is what makes thought tangible. It's your routines, your focus, your physical presence. It's the way your feet touch the floor in the morning and how you return to your breath when things fall apart. Without this code, you drift. With it, you root. Earth doesn't ask for perfection. It asks for presence. Discipline is not a punishment. It's a container, a sacred shell through which vision becomes real. People often say they're stuck, that they're blocked. But what they really mean is that they haven't created enough structure for the energy to flow. Imagine electricity with no wires. It sparks, then disappears. The code of form is the wire, and it begins with your body. How you eat, how you sleep, how you speak. Every choice is a vote for your reality. This is not about control, it's about coherence. The universe can only match what you consistently embody. That's the law. But form without flow is just a cage. So enters the second code, emotion, movement, water. Flow is not chaos, it's intelligence in motion. Water remembers. Everything it touches adapts to every container and never resists its own nature. That's the power of the second code. If you want to influence reality, you must learn to feel without drowning. Emotion is not weakness. It's language, energy in motion. Most people suppress, numb, or bypass their emotions, thinking logic is stronger. But emotion is the steering wheel of manifestation. Logic builds the car. Emotion decides where it goes. If you carry fear, your reality bends toward protection. If you carry gratitude, it bends toward abundance. Water doesn't argue, it responds. So does reality. The water code teaches you to feel deeply, but move freely. To let emotion be information, not identity. Emotions are messengers, not masters. You are not sad. You are experiencing sadness. That subtle shift is the beginning of power. When water is stuck, it festers. When it flows, it heals. The same is true inside you. The second code is about purification, not by force, but by release. When you feel fully, you free the signal, and that signal becomes your frequency. Then comes the third code, the code of ignition. Will, vision, fire. Nothing shifts reality faster than focused intent. Not vague hope, not scattered desire, but clear directed thought backed by belief. Fire burns away the excess. It says, "This is who I am, and this is where I'm going." Without fire, ideas die. Without fire, dreams stall. But fire must be tended. Too much, and you burn out. Too little, and you never start. This code lives in your third eye, your mind, your inner sight. It is the force of focus. Most people let the world dictate what they pay attention to. News cycles, notifications, noise. But fire asks, what are you focusing your energy on? What are you feeding? Thought is not passive, it's creative. The moment you think consistently about something, you are feeding its formation, not just in your mind, but in the field of reality. Fire is also courage, the willingness to move even when the path isn't clear. It says, I don't wait for certainty, I create it. When your vision is aligned with your values and your belief is stronger than your doubt, the universe can't help but respond. Because you're not just asking, you're commanding with frequency, not force. The final code in this first layer is the code of connection, air, breath, spirit, the unseen intelligence that holds all things together. This is not philosophy, it's physics. The same air you breathe has been breathed by every living thing that has ever existed. Air is not empty. It is data. It carries memory, intention, resonance, and it links you to something larger than yourself. You are not alone. You are a node in a vast web of consciousness, a point of light in a living field. The air code teaches receptivity, listening, stillness. Most people try to manifest from control, but true manifestation comes from alignment. Air does not force, it allows. It moves around obstacles, it adapts, and in its stillness, it receives. That's why meditation, prayer, and silence have always been tools for transformation. In stillness, you hear what movement drowns out. You receive what force chases away. The air code opens you to intuition, guidance, higher knowing. Not because something outside is speaking, but because something inside is finally quiet enough to listen. This code isn't about doing more. It's about doing less with more awareness. You're not meant to chase alignment. You're meant to allow it. When these four codes, form, flow, fire, and air, are understood in isolation, they improve your life. But when they are harmonized together, they unlock your command over reality. This is not magic. This is design. The same design used by ancient cultures who aligned their temples with the four winds. The same design written into your DNA with its four base codes. The same pattern mirrored in the four brainwave states, the four seasons, the four elements. This is the language of life itself. You don't need to decode the universe. You need to become coherent with it. You are not separate from the design. You are the design. And the moment you stop living by default and start living by these codes, reality starts responding like a mirror held up to your frequency. Not because you're lucky, because you're finally aligned. The deeper you align, the less effort it takes. Because you stop pushing against the current and start flowing with it. You don't have to force reality to obey. You simply have to stop disobeying your own nature. You are not just living inside reality. You are in constant negotiation with it. Every moment, every breath, every silent belief you hold is making deals with the universe. Some people make those deals unconsciously, and their lives reflect the chaos of forgotten choices. Others learn the structure of the codes and begin to shape their environment with precision, not by force, but by alignment. The difference between wandering and creating is not talent, it's understanding. And that understanding starts with knowing how to embody the four codes, not just as ideas, but as living principles you carry into your thoughts, habits, relationships, and inner language. The deeper truth is this: these codes are already operating inside you. You've just never learned how to see them. But once you do, the question is no longer, Will this work for me? The question becomes, how long have I been unknowingly resisting the very power I've always had? Start with the body. The body is not a vessel, it is a language. It is not beneath the mind. It is the foundation upon which all else is built. And within the body lives the first code, earth. When you wake up in the morning, do you feel rooted or restless? Do you move with intention or in reaction? The body answers questions you don't know you're asking. It stores every emotion you've ever refused to feel, every trauma you've minimized, every memory you've buried under productivity. People try to manifest without addressing their physical energy and wonder why nothing changes. Your spine is your antenna. Your nervous system is your conduit. Your posture is your signal. When your body is out of rhythm, your entire field becomes noisy. Reality doesn't respond to noise. It responds to coherence. If your environment is cluttered, your habits are inconsistent, and your sleep is broken, your earth code is disrupted. And no matter how pure your intention is, your signal is scrambled. Grounding is not a spiritual trend, it's biological. When you are grounded, you become trustworthy to the field. Because grounded people are predictable in the best way. They show up, they follow through, they don't leak their power, they hold it. And in that holding, the universe knows where to meet them. Structure invites synchronicity. That's not magic. That's alignment. But grounding alone is not enough. You must also learn how to flow. The water code doesn't ask for answers. It asks for awareness. It doesn't want you to fix how you feel. It wants you to feel it, fully, authentically, because emotions are not disruptions in your path. They are the path. Every time you deny an emotion, you split your energy. You fragment your frequency. You become half-present. And reality cannot build upon half-truths. The most magnetic people are not the ones who hide their feelings. They are the ones who know how to express them with grace without drowning in them. Feelings are sacred signals. They tell you when you are in resonance and when you are out of sync. You don't need to control how you feel. You need to meet it, to hold space for it. Let it rise, crash, move, and settle like the ocean it is. When you do that, you become clear water. Reality reflects clearly in clear water. Think of relationships. How many of them break, not because of what happened, but because of unspoken emotions left to rot beneath the surface? Water teaches you to move, to speak, to release, and most importantly, to forgive. Forgiveness is the flow state of the soul. It is how you release the emotional weight that bends your reality into unwanted loops. When you forgive, you restore current, and where there is current, there is life. The third code, fire, is where things start to burn away. This is the place where comfort ends and clarity begins. Fire is the realm of vision, purpose, focus. Not everyone wants to master fire, because fire demands honesty. It demands the death of who you're not, so the real you can emerge. And that's terrifying to the ego. But liberation doesn't come from comfort. It comes from truth. Fire isn't just ambition. It's awareness sharpened into direction. When you sit still and ask, what do I actually want? Not what you were told to want, not what looks good on paper, but what ignites your being, you awaken the fire. And that fire doesn't ask for permission. It moves, it clears, it illuminates. But only if you fuel it with belief. Most people dream in whispers and doubt in screams. The fire code flips that. It says, turn your doubt into fuel. Use your vision. Like a blade, cut through distraction, slice away obligation, carve a path through the forest of confusion. You don't have to see the entire trail. You just need to see the next step and take it with certainty. When your inner fire is alive, the universe recognizes the heat, and it responds. Not because you forced it, because you matched it. Now the air code. The most misunderstood and yet the most powerful. Air is not emptiness. It is intelligence. It carries thought, intention, and inspiration. It is the realm of intuition, insight, divine timing. The air code is subtle, which makes it easy to ignore. But what you ignore in the invisible will dominate you in the visible. Most people want signs from the universe, but they don't know how to listen. They fill the silence with noise, the space with action, the stillness with doubt. But air doesn't speak in volume. It speaks in resonance. You hear it in the whisper before the idea. You feel it in the pause between decisions. You sense it when something feels off, even when everything looks right. That's not paranoia, that's perception. The air code teaches you to trust the spaces in between, to honor your intuitive nudges, to believe in the unseen connections that shape your path. You don't always need more data. Sometimes you need more silence, because in that silence, you hear the truth before it becomes visible. And once you align with that truth, you begin to move through life like someone who already knows. And that kind of certainty bends time. Together, these 4 codes are not concepts to memorize. They are energies to embody. When you eat with intention, move with rhythm, speak with emotion, act with clarity, and rest with presence, you activate all 4 codes in harmony. And that harmony becomes your broadcast. You're no longer sending mixed signals. You're no longer chasing things that aren't for you. You're no longer bending to the rules of a reality that doesn't match your design. You're aligned, and alignment changes everything. It changes what you attract, how fast it arrives, and how deeply it stays. Because when you live by these codes, you're no longer trying to escape the matrix. You're reprogramming it from the inside out, not with fear, but with frequency. And frequency is the true currency of reality. Money, love, success, health, they are all responses, not rewards. They are answers to the vibration you consistently carry. That's not a belief, that's a law. So if you want to shift your life, don't ask, what do I need to do? Ask, what frequency am I living in? Are you grounded or scattered? Are you flowing or frozen? Are you clear or confused? Are you connected or closed? Your answers don't come from the outside. They come from tuning in, not to escape the world, but to align so deeply with it that it bends to meet you where you are. This is what it means to master the codes, not to dominate life, but to become such a pure signal that life has no choice but to reflect you clearly. And in that clarity, reality stops being random. It becomes response. You've learned the structure. You've felt the rhythm. But now comes the deeper layer, the layer that bridges what is internal to what is infinite. The moment you master the 4 codes not just as ideas, but as ways of being, the field around you changes. The world no longer responds to your actions alone. It responds to your essence. This is where you stop chasing life and life begins arriving, not all at once, but unmistakably. Patterns break, old loops dissolve, synchronicities become frequent, and the people who once didn't see you now feel you before you enter the room. Because you're no longer sending mixed signals. You are a pure transmission. Not just a human thinking thoughts or feeling emotions, but a living frequency echoing into the quantum field. That's the shift, the real shift. It's not just about becoming positive or focused, it's about becoming aligned. And alignment is louder than effort. It's more powerful than noise. It reaches further than logic. This is where reality begins to obey. Not because you commanded it with your voice, but because you calibrated it with your presence. This field around you, this invisible cloud of energy, is not spiritual fluff. It's physics. Quantum physics has already proven that observation alters reality, that intention collapses possibility into form, and that energy follows awareness. The codes are not just metaphors. They are how you interact with this quantum field. Earth grounds your signal into physical form. Water moves it through emotion. Fire sharpens it through clarity. and air elevates it into intuitive direction. When you harmonize all four, you become what ancient traditions call a pillar of light, a being through which heaven and earth meet. You walk into a room and change its temperature without speaking, not because you're special, but because you're coherent. You're not leaking power through doubt or fear. You're not fragmented by past wounds or future projections. You're here, entirely. And that level of presence reorganizes the world around you. You begin to notice strange alignments, numbers repeating, doors opening, delays that protect, redirections that lead to better outcomes than you imagined. And it's not because the universe is suddenly working for you, it's because you've finally learned to work with it. But this work isn't just energetic, it's biological. Your nervous system is listening. Your DNA is listening. The frequencies you emit through emotion, thought, and presence literally shift your cellular expression. Studies have shown that meditation, gratitude, and intention can alter gene expression, strengthen the immune system, and even change the brain's architecture. The codes are not just mental, they are physical. Your biology responds to vibration. You are not just a machine of flesh and bone. You are a conductor, a tuning fork, and the field you generate doesn't end at your skin. It extends, vibrates, informs. That's why your environment changes when you do. That's why people fall away when you rise. That's why new paths appear when you commit to your purpose. You're not waiting for permission. You're generating resonance. You are not reacting to the world. You are formatting it. But here's the deeper truth. If you don't consciously use the codes, you still live by them, just unconsciously. And the unconscious use of powerful laws creates chaos. That's why people feel stuck. It's not because the field doesn't work. It's because they've been misaligned within it. But misalignment isn't failure. It's feedback. And feedback is the language of reality. Learn to listen. The code of Earth shows you that discipline is sacred. It's not about control. It's about anchoring the unseen into the seen. When you wake up early, keep your word, create routines that support your vision. You're not just building a life, you're signaling stability. And stability is magnetic. The universe does not reward intensity, it rewards consistency. The code of water reminds you that vulnerability is strength, that feeling is healing, that emotional authenticity clears static from your frequency. When you cry, forgive, express, or simply sit with what is, you are restoring flow. And in flow, miracles move. The code of fire shows you that clarity creates momentum. Without direction, energy loops. But when you commit, when you say yes with your full body and let your actions match your inner knowing, you ignite movement, and movement opens paths. The code of air teaches surrender, not as defeat, but as trust. You listen, you wait, you breathe through uncertainty, and you allow the greater intelligence to move through you. This is where inspiration lands, where intuition speaks, where timing aligns. These are not stages, they are symphonies. When played together, they become the music your life dances to. And now the codes stretch beyond you. They reach into your timeline, your past, your present, and your possible futures. When you're grounded, you process your history instead of being possessed by it. When you're flowing, you make peace with the waves of now. When you're ignited, you choose timelines with purpose. And when you're connected, you receive the path of least resistance. That's when time bends. Time doesn't move linearly. It moves according to emotional resonance. When you're anxious, time slows down. When you're aligned, time speeds up. When you're lost, time loops. When you're clear, time unfolds. Mastering the codes lets you shift timelines. Not just theoretically, literally. People show up faster. Doors open sooner, patterns dissolve quicker. You're not bending reality by force. You're harmonizing with it so powerfully that it has no choice but to reflect you in real time. This is the hidden architecture of manifestation. Not effort, alignment, not wanting, being. And being is the loudest command. Mastery does not mean perfection. It means participation. You don't have to always feel grounded or flowing or focused or peaceful. You just have to become aware. Awareness is the reset button. When you feel scattered, pause and return to earth. Breathe deep. Anchor into the now. When you feel overwhelmed, flow, cry, move. Let the energy go. When you feel lost, ignite. Clarify what you want and take the next step. When you feel disconnected, connect. Meditate, walk in silence, speak to your soul. These resets are not spiritual rituals. They're energetic recalibrations. You are not broken. You are dynamic, and your ability to come back into alignment is what makes you powerful. Every master has fallen, but they fall consciously, and they rise quickly. Because the codes are not about control. They are about remembering. Remembering who you were before the noise, before the programming, before the fear. The codes are your original language. The universe did not give them to you. It built you from them. So now the question is not whether the codes work. They do. The question is, will you use them? Will you stop outsourcing your power to luck or fate or systems that don't see you? Will you stop waiting for change and become the change frequency itself? Will you stop chasing timelines and start tuning into them? Because when you do, the world shifts. Not instantly, but undeniably. People feel it. Results mirror it. Life begins to show up differently. Not because life changed, but because you did. You are not a victim of this system. You are a generator within it. And your field is stronger than you think. When you master Earth, you stop floating. When you master water, you stop freezing. When you master fire, you stop hesitating. When you master air, you stop grasping. And in that mastery, you stop surviving and start creating. There will be days where you forget. That's okay. Come back. There will be moments where the old programs scream. That's okay. Breathe through them. There will be times when nothing external looks like it's working. That's okay. The field takes time to rearrange. But if you stay aligned, stay coherent, stay tuned, you will witness a reality that obeys not your ego, but your essence. You will witness doors open that logic can't explain. You will feel truth before it appears. And you will know, without question, that reality is not something you chase. It's something you tune. And once you tune it with the 4 codes, it listens. Always.